at this stage. But of course, the two best teams from each of their regions.
It is such a blessing, right? Unarguably, the two undisputed best teams from their respective regions, and ultimately, by far, M80 and the Union very quickly into this series. We're opening it up here on Fracture with M80 on the defense. And just off rip, Union, they love to play this aggressive style, these pistol rounds. They're
launching smoke.
I actually back away early out of B main after that early aggression.
They don't stick around to try to go for a second wave either. M80, they are getting caught on their flank here. Nismo, what a beautiful position. And he might just get all of them. 2 for free, and EU's right there for the punishment. Union, they are still in the round. There is still a 2v2. A is empty.
And these two players as well are quickly on their flank. Hank has gotten very aggressive in towards defender spawn, checking for any early rotations. They should have a pretty good idea as to where these two players are coming from, and we'll see in a second where Gu elects to position himself. It's not the best crossfire between these two players.
Nah, he was just looking for the first tap, but this is going to be a little bit difficult here for M80. What do they have to actually get out? Only a single turret, trying to bait into contact, but Gu has the first angle. Not going to be able to pick up the second, but John QT, that just isn't enough. The Union up on top.
We got to see a very, very small sample of how Union will play this entire series and how the Brazilian region is going to play this entire event. It's aggression. Just off of rip, we saw a quick push, or actually we didn't see the quick push, but there was a very early kill in towards A main, and I imagine that's going to be a massive team fight, especially in this post play. You can see the crossfires that Union are setting up. It's one of the reasons why, Gus, they are the undisputed top team in Brazil. It's because of how good they are in their team fights and how technical they can be with their clears and how they play off one another. I think on the flip side, though, M80 are also very well known for how good they are in team fights, but I think for a different reason altogether. It's mainly because how deep their util gameplay is and how good they are at setting up players in positions.
I mean, it's not like Union have had the same explosivity that we've seen from M80. I mean, they switched duelists midway through the season. Askia, as we heard from the desk, he's only had 2 weeks of regular season experience, a playoff series under his belt.
Empty B site, nobody here from M80, so this should be pretty free here for the Union. As all 5 M80 players will group up. We could see a couple of exit kills, maybe some damage done here in this smoke.
Enough, really. Xander goes in just for a bit of a shock when the aftershock comes in, but Askia, a bit of farmage, of course, with ult points. Nismo around the corner is going to go down in an instant. Union, again, just farming up the ult points early on, moving into the first gun round.
And we are for sure going to see a lot more action from that guy in particular. The man that just got the 3K, Askia. He's that new duelist that I think the desk very briefly touched on. There was a point in time where the Union had Havoc in the roster instead, but they ultimately swapped him out for Askia, who hasn't had like months of experience with this team, but he comes into the roster and he is just unbelievable to watch. He's a guy that I think Tanner put it best, goes and keeps on going. He's always looking for a little bit extra, and we'll have kind of the first gun round here. The style of the Union is always going to be this aggression early in these rounds, and we'll see a quick display of it here on this B site.
Yeah, look at the pace here, Xander. Alongside John QT, getting pressured out just a little bit. They are readjusting back over towards their own spawn.
Look how fast M80 are on this flank. 3 players have backed up in response to the 2 that have gone full dish control, but they have been revealed by breaking that piece of util. And for
now they have 2 coming from Arcade.
The Union are incredibly strong in these post plants, and I think M80 are giving them too much time to play this.
This positioning is so aggressive from the Union, however. So close up into Jenny at the moment. Pank in the underpass, looking for a couple of picks out of Arcade. This is such a tough position here for M80 to get out of.
There's Gu's ult, trying to punish Koalanu by himself.
It's just going to delay even more, though. Here comes Askia from behind. He can sweep up a bit. There's 2 players right in front of him, but he only knows about the 1. This is starting to become, again, very chaotic for M80. They just can't find a clean way into sight. Finally, they make it through, but time has been completely crunched off the clock. Koala Noob does pop in to take down Rafa, but that's on their way out. Union are up 3-0.
And that is a strong post play. That's something that you just can't give this Union team time to set up, and I think M80 waiting for that flank is what costs them this round. You give so much time for Union to set up, who had an orbital strike, that had a lot of post-plane util with NTK and his aftershock, and it's one of the large strengths that Union have going into this event is they've typically boasted a 70% post-plant win rate, but on this map of Fracture in particular, and it's something that we'll have to watch out for, 80% win rate in their post-plants. You can see how good they are in these team fights, working off of one another, trading and swinging when the time comes to take a fight. It'll be key to watch how Union play these post rounds and specifically how they enter into these sites, as M80 will still have enough to muster a full buy after saving a handful of rifles.
Of course, the big thing that last round, the layering of the Brain Mutil, but still Walanoob up front. There's no way. Who actually gets the pick back instead? Pink on the other side does pick down one over towards Dish. It's an early disaster for M80. Two players go hunting, and they both go down.
Yeah, trying to fight fire with fire is not going to work against a Union team. And I think for both of these teams, it's the first time they're going to experience playing against a team that is individually at the exact same level. Here's the fight there that Nismo needs to win.
Again.
Rafa just shutting him down. M80 trying to take some space back there was Nismo after losing full control towards Arcade. He just gets punished, and I think this is another round where if you're M80, you are definitely consider saving.
No potential going into the next round in terms of an actual buy, though. M80 down in the doldrums. But again, that round, we saw a bit of a different look from M80. Playing a lot more aggressive than what we've seen before. And the first time that they pull it off, Union, they almost humbled.
Enemy remaining.
And I was honestly wondering going into this match if there was going to be a stylistic change from a team like the Union, because I think that their aggressive style worked really, really well in Brazil, because they were just, I mean, individually, they were leagues ahead above a lot of these teams.
A lot of teams respected them too.
Yeah, it was hard to play against a Union team that was able to switch up their like fast, aggressive pace to a really nice contact. So I was wondering if we were going to see maybe some difference in the way that we're going to play this event against these North American teams, but that's not the case. These first 4 rounds have been very quick from the Union, and we just saw Askia. He was the one given the spike to plant on the A site. He's going to have the showstopper here. And when he has that showstopper, that's when you really see this guy get aggressive, and he'll ult into sight and continue to press forward and take space. It's one of, again, the strengths of the Union. And I think this round, we'll probably see this ult come out and see what Askia wants to do with it. Again, a very early display of how this team is going to play this entire event with their aggression. And M80 calling their very first time out.
First time out here on LAN. You finally get to hear potentially the talking head Happy right behind him, but
that's not Happy. That's a lady.
They got
Happy.
There he is. There he is. Yeah, M80. They get to duke it out for a quick second. Again, this team has never been on LAN. Potentially mental might be a big thing that they're talking about.
Yeah, I think they've also never played against a team that is as aggressive as the Union, and that's going to be the thing for all the teams that are playing against these Brazilian teams.
100%.
Like, Double O Nation is absolutely no exception to the Brazilian style. I mean, you think all the way back to...
They're the epitome of it. Exactly.
You think all the way back to the Game Landers era. I mean, Brazil is just known for that kind of pace, and M80 have never had to deal with that kind of style. And, you know, going into this matchup, I thought it would be a pretty, you know, contrast between these two teams. M80, a team that is notorious for their defensive setups, how good they are at layering util, whether or not that would be enough to stop this team like the Union. And so far, it hasn't. They're on an eco. And we're getting to the point in this matchup, at least in this first half, where the ult cycle starts to come online, and Askia has his overs towards a main. And this isn't a Union team that likes to fake a whole lot of the time. So I think Askia is going back towards Dish, where he can use his ult to get onto site with the rest of his team.
Has a lot of time to do so. Except for util on the other side, M80. They're not exactly pushing the situation. No early information coming out from the team either. And that lack of information is essentially what's triggering what's going on at the moment. M80 just committing all 5 over towards that B side. Union, it's going to be a bit of a cakewalk again.
No ult this time from Askia. Okay, never mind. He pops it once he's onto the site.
Top?
That is so crazy. He's still going to get aggressive, and you can see it here. Once he just go,
Ow.
That's a little bit rough. We're still in Brazil, but there's always got to be a Rose ult somewhere.
Oh, okay. Askia doesn't exactly hit the ulti, but the rest of his team, more than enough space, more than enough chances to kind of sweep this one away. M80, they're not exactly wrapping this team at the moment to try to get some exits. Again, just yet another part of the process here for Union.
Last player standing.
4 players walking away from this for the Union. Askia was already at 8,000, so this is a Union team that has got quite the bankroll to play with for the remainder of this half. And now M80 off of that timeout have brought out the Walanoob operator. And if you were watching at the very beginning, he had been talking about how he thinks that there's not a single duelist in the event that compares to him. And now that he's got the operator, we'll see if he can really slow down this Union style. I wonder what the change will be from M80, because they have tried the retake already in these first 5 rounds, and they have tried the aggression. But fighting fire with fire didn't work the first time.
Here.
It looks like they're going to set quality up very early with this operator to see if you can find an early pick. ASCENSION is going to be the main proprietor of this duel.
Exactly, work out early on. And M80, they need to get into some better positions quickly here. Union wrapping up on A at the moment. Kuala does exactly what I just said. Repositioning himself up over towards Dish. Owl drone in front of him to try to clear out that space, but NTK dangerously close.
And it's just taken back the space with that fault line to maybe feign the fact that we could see another ASCENSION entry into the into the A site from Dish. And look at this, M80 have fallen for it as well. They're keeping 3 players here. We have an orbital strike from Xander, but he's just so committed over towards B main. We have a KJ set up as well towards tower that might buy them some time.
Oh, but he still ends up pulling out the orbital strike. It's just gonna delay a little bit. And Xander even slips in a headshot, but this Hunter's Fury is going straight for ASCENSION. M80 picking away at the Union one by one going into this take. And it's the ultimates that finally come into play for M80. 5 rounds into the game, John QT sweeping away another one.
30 seconds
Rafa
left.
all alone. And a 1v5. So we go from pure Union dominance to now what seems to be an M80 flawless. Just about 20 seconds left of the round. It's almost impossible for Rafa to get this spike safely into the middle of sight. M80, finally a clean round getting under their belts.
Rafa will be guaranteed the ultimate if he goes down here.
10 seconds left.
But this round is like the perfect example of what I was talking about with these M80 strengths. We just got an after image of that kill. It was so funny. But yeah, I mean, this M80 team, that's where their strength lies and how good they are with this Utah. I mean, we saw a fault line going towards tower, comboed again. Hunter's through in the orbital strike, perfectly played. And yeah, here's that replay. The fault line comes in, John QT swings. This is what makes this M80 team leagues above the rest of these North American teams that we saw during Challengers. Is they were just so good with using their util and setting up for kills. It's what definitely sets them apart and will be a big stake in this matchup between these two teams. One team that is so good just in team fights, and the other that wins team fights because of their phenomenal util.
Kuala with a huge opportunity already in front of him. 2 more players coming out of arcade, but he's repositioned himself in a really good spot in the middle of B.
They've kept Kuala alone on site, backed John QT off so that he could use his ultimate, but now he gets back into the site as the revive comes online. Again, this is a Union team that doesn't do fakes.
What is this position here? At least he has a second player in front of him, but Pank, he can have a bit of a silver platter here. John QT pops, still Kuala around the corner, but Kuala he has his head on a swivel. He just got a pick out of arcade, and he ends up going up again with knives. What is going on here, Kuala ASCENSION still.
Oh my God!
Kuala clay pigeon out of the air, and M80 mow over Union.
And Kuala is firing. Hit his peak during Challengers playoffs, and he continues with that form coming into round 7. That was an insane final shot, but M80 looking a lot sharper after that timeout. Kuala operator is huge in taking these early fights, and the confidence that that guy has off of that round is probably going to be brimming as we move forward. And Union doesn't reset them here, but that's a big round, I think, for the confidence of M80. They didn't win their first round on land, but they have picked up the pace a little bit. And here's a timeout call. That switch up from M80 has got Union a little bit frustrated now.
Oh boy, Union, again, you said it, not really known for their fakes. They continue to commit to that scenario going into site, and they almost had the gap. ASCENSION was making his way through site. Kuala to an extent, was locked into tree. Union had the right idea, but that's the X factor again for M80. Pretty much anyone on this team can be able to pop off, but the one that we've been looking at for the last few months, of course, is Kuala
Yeah.
And that's just the moment for the man to pop off.
Been an exceptional player. He's, in my opinion, the best player coming out of the North American Challengers. And that was with the likes of Ye, with the likes of ASCENSION, as well with Tex on the other side, the other North American counterpart in this event.
Even Nismo on his own team.
Yeah, he stands currently 7-4 at the moment, a 4K from that last one. And Union, 5-man send into this A site. More than likely going to see this Rolling Thunder come out. I imagine over towards like the sand spawn area where we'll probably see that Brimstone stim beacon and that ASCENSION blast back out.
But this has to be scary. All 5 players coming out of A main. What's the answer here for M80? ASCENSION gets himself into a good position early on into Sands, but still ends up getting taken down by Nismo. Nismo holds on, and this Rolling Thunder could be so huge. All 3 players here on this side for M80.
Sides.
4 players here. There it goes. Rolling Thunder in. Rafa's right in the middle. Everyone is pretty much stunned here for Union. But even then, M80, they don't commit to this. The double cages is holding them, but the lockdown, this is gonna lock them out for sure.
And there's a minute left on the clock here. Union definitely have time to make a rotate if they really wanted to. But M80, again, superior with his util, staggering their util to delay this Union team. Now they're stuck in towards A main.
Goo. Maintaining this front position right now, but the Union, again, we mentioned the lack of fakes.
And this is going to confuse M80 because of that tack timeout. They're probably thinking this could be a rotate, which is why we've seen John QT move already.
It's going to be Xander with the first contact. He doesn't have a lot to actually respond with. It's low HP, and Pink is able to take him down. It's all on EU. Was only able to get one. John QT with all to do. 1v3.
Such a chaotic round.
Planted.
2 ultimates used, and I think Union stay in this because Rafa sends a really nice double slow orb setup in between this like drop in the double stack box that I think caught EU, or I don't think it was EU, it might have been Koala Noob out in the open.
Impeccable kill.
John QT will do what he can to try and put damage onto this Union economy, but this crossfire is just impeccable. As soon as contact's made, one is going to swing off the other.
Low on the HP.
Post plants again, exceptional here from the Union as they pick it up 62 off the timeout.
Rafa doesn't heal there, and John QT potentially has a chance. But that's a big opening finally back for the Union. It was starting to get a bit scary, though. All 5 on the south side going into A main. They even had to readjust a bit. M80, they didn't exactly maintain that front side positioning. EU tried his best, but there wasn't any utility to actually be able to stop them. They were just relying on the firepower.
Really great reclaim here as well from the Union, taking their time, forcing John QT to rotate. Again, that tactical timeout probably putting a little bit of worry on M80's minds. Again, this isn't a team that usually rotates and does fakes, but that was the first time that M80 were expecting it. Here's a little bit of aggression here. Quality set up in an early spot, but no picks found, and I wonder if Union are going to be quick to act over towards Arcade.
They're out into B. Arcade, fully empty. M80 forced back into tree, and that's a huge kill. Taking down Rafa. Rafa could have had a bit of a party. It's gonna be the 5v4, barely any util.
But this is
any
again
ultimates.
where the Union are so powerful, and an 80% post-plant win rate coming into this event on Fracture. And this is what ASCENSION does best.
The patience. It's perfect. ASCENSION gets absolutely punished. Now it's a 2-man advantage for M80. They can absolutely waterfall this site. Who's going to be the only man to actually hold it down
Huge
here?
kill.
But Pink has an opportunity to whittle it down, but it was the same thing with ASCENSION. Both Pink and ASCENSION not able to do their jobs here. Pink not able to get the hit. Orbital strike in the middle of sight to try to take out the man in tower. And Pink still stuck in Jenny, still in a 1v1. And the defuse does go in with him stuck in a box.
I won't lie, this is a weird post-plant from the Union. I mean, Goo had the orbital strike, but it looked like he wanted to use it to try and net themselves a kill. It's just unfortunate that ASCENSION as well gets caught off guard in defender spawn, but props to M80 for making this retake a lot more slow pace and not getting overwhelmed by the Union. They play their picks, and Union kind of just gets separated in this one. Like, there's a lot of solo fights happening, which isn't typical from a team that is so well coordinated in these post plants. And when it comes to swinging off one another, M80, we trade rounds for the first time. I don't know if you heard that, but he asked, do these guys understand English, all right? Because I think they're hollering across like what their strats are. So. Or at least talking some trash across the stage.
I'd like to think so. Well, and it's already dwindling down to 30 HP. He's gonna go all the way down to this nade. And it's not even the nade. Shot comes in from NTK at the same time. Xander still holding down the A site. Tank is gonna be walking into the alarm bot. Everyone else water falling into sight.
Oh my!
A massive hold to take down one, but even bigger from John QT. Pank left on his lonesome. 3 players in front of him, both behind the cage. And he's not able to do anything with it. Huge round from for M80.
Yeah, and for a lot of reasons, a massive swing one against the Union's economy. They're going to be reset here. The first time we're going to see them on an eco round. M80 might be able to bring this back 6-6 on a map that Union have been incredible on throughout their challengers. And
Yeah.
This is the first time again we're going to see them have a reset. They use the showstopper, which gets absolutely nothing against Nismo on site. Just one fault line slowing down that push, separating ASCENSION from the rest of his team, so there isn't that instant trade. We don't have the, I can't see the minimap. There it is. Union expecting a full push. And here they are again towards the B site. No op this time, high-low.
And Rafa gets demolished on the hero rifle. High-low does break apart. There's nobody else here, but oh my! NTK! He lines up the stars basically through the smoke. Luckily getting 2. How does he get 2 out of that? Okay, M80.
Pank, hold on. Might find a double here if he's not... Oh, if he doesn't get revealed early, and he did. Quality giving us a fraction of a second to set up, but Union walking their way into the B site. NTK, a huge double.
It just hurts to even watch. Koala Noob. Oh my goodness. A 1v2 has made it a little bit possible. Doesn't know the man in tower. Flash in his face, however. This is starting to get a bit more worthwhile here for Koala Noob. Again, the economy of Union still down in the dumps, but NTK cuts the bleeding early. And what a round from NTK and eBay Thrifty to push Union over the edge.
And it's a full contact, something that Union, I was expecting a lot more of in this half, is those contact plays. They walk up, swing together like the pack mentality to make these trades happen. And it happened here finally, over towards B tree. Like 3 players are grouped up, and yes, the first kill does go the way of M80, but NTK with his rifle is able to find a triple with a double coming off of that first kill that goes the way of M80, winning the 4v5. And bringing the op out of the M80 hands. We don't have that op anymore for Koala Noob.
It's so pivotal, especially in this type of position. 2 players right behind him. He would want that first connection. Have the 2 rifles behind him. Rain down bullets. Instead now M80. They've left one man stranded on an island over on A.
Here's that contact. No time for M80 to react.
It's pretty much all done for M80. You have a couple pieces of util to try to get back into this, but Union all 5, and they're taking even more map control right now.
And a rolling thunder as well. As soon as the wall gets tapped out, Koala Noob does at least find one on Rafa.
That's a huge one to start. Everyone else from Union backing out into A main. Only 1 in dish at the moment. There's nothing in the middle of sight. If anything, it's actually M80 util. The nano swarm's still sticking around. They have a single smoke. They can cross into sight. This is starting to work. They're crossing in. Xander able to pick away at 1, but there's still 2 more to deal with. Making only 1 more to deal with. He's gone. Pink left again on his lonesome.
It's not at half yet.
Being denied, and the orbital strike ends up recharging and coming in huge for M80 to finish off the half.
And this was a great retake from M80. Putting all 4 players into the retake situation and recognizing where Union were playing from. Koala Noob pushing in towards A main from the front, and then there was another one coming through the doors. I believe it was EU as well. And M80 bringing us 5 to 7 from their attack, from their defensive side. But Union still a 2-round lead. The strongest side of Fracture being their attacking side. Now on the defense, will have to try and win out this half entirely. This is where we can expect more aggression from Union, taking early map control, but this is interesting. We're not seeing like I think the last time they played Fracture, it was a 4-man push towards B tree. It's only a 2-man with a fault line set up in towards A. We'll have to see quick rotates. Rafa, I think, with a wall ready early towards Arcade to slow this push down, so we should have quick rotates or at least a quick flank from Union.
You can see kind of the idea here from M80, like you said. There was that big push over towards Arcade. M80 has 4 here to try to hold it down. A Sage wall early on over an Arcade for them to safely fight tree. This is a great idea from Union, and they capitalize.
And that kill on John QT has told the rest of M80 that they've pushed him towards our tree, so we can take Arcade for now. Jeez!
14 HP, and Pank somehow gets the kill. They knew exactly where he was, and okay, all right. If there's anyone that can take Pank out, it's himself. Koala Noob and Xander need to run away. They do pick up the ult orb on their way out. There's already a rotator going into the middle of that A site, but M80 got completely halted there.
And Union doing a good job here of not overcommitting a player on this side and giving up 1v1s. NTK's at a spot where he'll buy time. That is such a well-timed aftershock. Buying a couple of extra seconds for the flank to initiate an A main. This will be a difficult one for M80 to win out, even with 2 of their strongest players.
Last
And of
player
course, the
standing.
situation,
30 seconds left.
it doesn't work out in their favor. 34 HP. The only thing that Xander can hope for is the spike plant to try to get that ult orb. And even a kill. Charging up even more, but that's a huge round for the Union, opening up the second half.
You gotta absolutely love seeing the success that Pank has had. Probably one of the unsung heroes of the Union, him finding that kill on tower, essentially halting that entire exec from M80. At 17-7, by the way, as a Cypher, or 17-8 now, excuse me. And there's his kill. Like, literally all the odds are stacked against him. He's got 2 players on his back, but he still manages to get a kill, putting Union in such an advantageous position. And you see again these team fights, how good they are at working off of one another. And if this round going the way of the Union, that might be a very painful round for M80 to lose in this map.
This next round's going to be even worse. Look at the buy here for M80.
They've actually forced into Stingers, surprisingly. This isn't something that we see a lot from them, even when they get the spike down.
Union win here. They go all the way up to 10, basically. Union backing up to the hills. Rafa, this is yet another good hold off of the Sage Wall, though. He can reposition himself back into sight to try to help out Pank, but never mind. Rafa is gone in an instant, and so is Pank.
Overwhelming this Union defense, giving them no time to breathe, running them down with Stingers. And Union on this retake, it's I feel with the numbers, it's going to be difficult.
Oh, the 2-man advantage here for M80. Askia even getting stunned up. This starts it off pretty well. Nobody up in tower, up close. Askia could actually get a kill or 2 in his own favor against the pistols. This is a massive opportunity for Askia, but his teammates are going down anyways. It's a tragedy here. He was in a good position, but everyone else dwindles. And M80, a miracle buy.
Making Stingers work. And I don't think Union were prepared for something like that. I don't think they really expected the force. Again, M80 aren't typically a team that will force in those second rounds, even when they lose. So whatever prep you had from Union, you definitely weren't expecting this kind of play. Quality for massive entry as well. And there was confusion because I was curious because there was such a focus on the Sage Wall drop by Rafa from Pank on the site. And there was even a flank that John QT was able to pick off Rafa, making Pank's life just so much harder. Now let's reset Union here. And kept M80, I feel, in this map. A risky force works out in their favor.
100%.
And off of this round, M80 are going to utilize the fact that they have lesser guns and definitely trying to abuse these ult orbs and charge it up. You already see EU getting on the one.
Yeah, but Union nor M80.
And look at M80. In these rounds in particular, you expect a lot of aggression from Union, like trying something cheeky, and M80 are certainly ready for it.
Yep, exactly. Just trying to lay down the net, trying to catch everyone from Union, try to walk in. That's exactly what happens. NTK loses out on patience, walks out first. Xander even takes down Askia right after. Who might get stranded. The rest of M80 spilling into the middle of B, but again, the only thing you could really expect from Union was a push there. They had to do something desperate.
Easy for Pank here, watch.
Oh, yeah. Light.
Easy for Pank, okay.
Oh, please. He picks up the rifle, almost able to really make a disaster out of it.
What is going on?
Hold on now. Rafa starts it out with a double pump, picks up the stinger, and is looking to do some damage.
Not even just damage. I think he's looking to win out the round entirely. But the stinger in these long distance situations is definitely going to hurt him. And this is a nice crossfire between these M80 players.
It's going to be tough for him to make it past EU already. The stinger long range. Any other gun there, you could potentially win that out, but Nismo still wins it with 10 HP. M80, that is sweat off their brow, though. That was pistols for Union.
Yeah, certainly a good bit of damage there from Union. And kind of just collateral damage from this shorty from Rafa. I was thinking, you know, if Pank does get that bulldog, there's a round where there's a round in the multiverse where he wins off of just that bulldog pickup. And M80, that's definitely a face of release from Nismo.
That goes there.
And one round separating these two teams. We'll finally have the first round. We'll see how Union will want to map out the rest of this half.
Here we go. Finally, the quick M80 style. Just trying to shock Union, and indeed, it's making them run for the hills immediately. The Breach had to back up for the aftershock.
And this is what Union love to do. They maintain back site control on their offensive side, so the retakes are a lot quicker.
They're fighting it so hard. Raises on the front side, same thing.
Ridiculous!
Everyone from the Union are up front and center, ready for a meat grinder, and Rafa from behind even makes the job even more difficult for M80. Union mow over M80.
And I think if you're M80, you have to be prepared. If you've done your homework, you know Union love to stick around on site. Players like Pank and players like NTK will just sit in smokes and get aggressive in A main, push in towards that sand smoke, and they will catch you off guard, which NTK does here absolutely perfectly. Just sitting around the smoke and Pank up top towards tower, like it's a perfect crunch in towards sand. And a huge round for Union. After doing so much damage in the last round, the economy from M80 is going to start to dwindle, and it's going to hurt a lot here in these upcoming rounds.
Oh, and they already pull everything in their arsenal.
And this is that swing round. M80 need to win this one or they'll get reset here.
It's going to be Koala Noob fishing for the first pick as everyone else on the south side for M80 holds their positioning. Dish is currently being taken.
Camera with an... okay, never mind. I thought for a second the nade was pointed towards Arcade, but it's pointed the other way. They've got a camera set up here on B. A very passive look coming out from Union. And M80 literally don't know what to do. Like, they were not... I don't think they were expecting this. I certainly wasn't expecting this style from Union. Switching it up immediately after a round like that is crazy confusing for a team like M80.
And it's similar to the last round where M80, the further they go into a site, they're essentially risking running into a pocket of Union players.
Did Goo spot him? I don't think he did. Okay, now he definitely knows that there's a player around there. And he's one kill off of his ult cycle. Same thing with NTK. So a pretty deadly round coming up. A nice nanostorm to force these players out of tower.
Didn't hit.
But a fake coming out from M80 as they swing back to the A site. You still have Rafa in the middle of it. He's used his wall to cover up A main. I don't know how early that was popped, so he can fully focus toward Dish, and he's got a nice trap wire as well to assist him.
Yeah, still the triple.
Look at this from Pank, this he loves.
Here we go, Pank.
Didn't see him.
He's in a golden position. Still a couple more players to jump right over him. They still haven't spotted him. They still haven't seen him. They're still not.
Nah!
Here comes Pank bringing the pain, and he's only able to get one, but it's Rafa from behind to capitalize. EU is gone, and Union come out of the round with a bang.
A ridiculous hold from the Union. I've seen Pank do that so many times, bro. He just sits, first he pops the cage, will sit under it, and the smoke timing as well from his teammate, Goo,
criminal,
is perfectly timed. That's why this guy has 20 kills, and on the defense, he is an absolute menace. One of the best anchors coming out of the Brazilian Challengers region. And to make a play like that in such a high-stakes round, M80 getting reset, that will be such a painful loss. Koala Noob will save the operator. But that's all they really have going into this.
Smoke's down.
And Union, even in this type of round where the eco could be a bit of an issue, they've actually gone away from that hold mentality that they've had for the last 3 to 4 rounds. They are going hunting a little bit more. But this is simply Union giving themselves an opportunity to be able to respond if M80 had some sort of off strategy for the round, had some sort of rush, as you would expect going into an eco.
And this deep wall from Union is giving them a lot of confidence in this A hit, especially with this cam spotting towards Arcade. It's what damage can M80 do at this point in time. There's not a lot that will be done to the Union economy. Maybe you can pick up some ults, especially for John QT, or apologies, EU, who would definitely love to have a kill here in a second. He's been lurking towards B. The wall's been passed, but how quick to get into this site? Union, I imagine Hank is going to look to fight around here and see what damage he can do early on. There's Hank again, a master amongst these smokes.
Either NTK or Goo gets a kill here, and huge ultimates on the board. The Raze nade almost doing a lot, and ASCENSION is still actually able to take down Nismo. M80 have dwindled down to 3 players, and the Molly didn't even do anything.
He's just gonna stick it through, yeah.
And NTK is just hunting. Union, confident going into the post plan for good reason. M80, they only had a couple of paper clips to really use.
And that's a lockdown, not essentially wasted. You definitely see the idea, but I think it's just not the best situation to use it. You're in a 3 versus 5, and you're gonna try and make a retake happen. You need to buy time for this lockdown, and just unfortunately, everyone goes down on site. Again, Pank finding that 1 kill, giving space to his team, an entry point back into the site is, you know, I just feel the lockdown there could have been saved for the next round, but you see the idea from M80 as they use their final timeout of regulation. We've got 4 ultimates, by the way, for Union going into this next round. And we're more than likely going to see another steadfast defense from them, which they've been playing extremely well so far.
It's tough to even tell what has been overwhelmingly successful here for M80 because they've tried multiple different styles. They have tried to kind of push and pull some of that early contact from Union, try to fake out. You know, the double hold a couple rounds ago from M80 over on B, I thought that was it. I thought Pank would just get shut down.
Oh my God,
I thought the Sage on site couldn't be able to do anything. But that's really the effect of Pank, right?
Dude,
Gosh, that smoke play was criminal.
I know, and we're going to see a lot of that. Like, we've got Pearl coming up, and they haven't played it, like, I don't think super recently, at least not in the semifinals or the upper finals of their region or the grand finals, but we're gonna see a lot of Pank just sitting in smokes, and if we get to a third map of Ascent, be ready for him to like play some crazy setups as well. Again, probably the best, I think, anchor in this event right now, and that's with the likes for the North American viewers of M80, where you've got John QT, who hit his absolute peak lately.
Oh my gosh. One of the best in the tournament.
M80 ready for aggression here. Pank has gotten, you know, he's got confidence, so I don't blame him for going for this kind of play, at least maybe a lurk. And this is great from Pank.
Oh yeah, they've been humbled so many times.
4
pushing
players
deeper
coming
and
his way.
deeper.
The timing, you're kidding me.
No way! How does EU get the kill there? He was flying.
And that will be the M80Q. That aggression towards B main will send them towards B. They know they've gotten the pick there.
Oh, and Rafa almost getting spotted out by the Owl drone, but still has the op to use, still has the opportunity to just inch out of the angle, and indeed capitalizes on one.
You're serious?
Getting another one. Rafa! Mowing him down. A double bump at the end. Might have just given Union map point here. EU stranded, 45 HP. And it all blows up in his face. Union 1 round away from taking a map off of the North American champions.
Forced to fight early, and Rafa, he stands unbelievably tall in towards tower. Like the initial peak, you saw it, look, you'll see it. He realizes that he gets fault line. He's like, well, I guess I kind of have to fight. After this first goes like, oh shoot, I kind of have to fight now.
Oh my.
And there was a fault line that I think connected onto Xander. His own teammate, Nismo, sent a fault line that allowed that trade. I think Nismo swings out of that smoke expecting Xander to have that angle covered.
Rafa looking for more, has the stage wall right in front of him. There goes the dash. He is scrambling a little bit, not able to inch forward towards yet another angle, and a rolling thunder in his face.
Do it again.
Can he do anything with a double pump? No, he can't. NTK is able to get 1 kill back, but that was just the one lurking over towards Dish.
We'll see what Goo can do here by himself. Askia with a showstopper. We could definitely see some kind of rolling thunder combo here. But that missed shot from Quality might cost them, as that rolling thunder is definitely going to hit a lot of players. But a great orbital strike to counter. Askia still finding one.
And Goo finds another. M80. Things have flipped entirely. They had the advantage, but now the disadvantage. EU out in the open. He's gone. Koala noob. The hope for M80 and map 1 is dead and gone. Union take a map off of M80.
And a lot of people, I think, were expecting M80 to come into this series with a lot of confidence and definitely be one of the top teams, but this was a Union team that brought the heat on all levels.
Yeah, again, realistically, the entire time, we didn't really see a true successful mentality for M80. They had tried a couple of things throughout the game, but realistically speaking, Union had their number the entire game. This is probably one of the most dominant performances that we've ever seen against M80.
In M80, we've been able to watch them through all of challenges for months. We've seen the development of this team. They hit their peak during Challengers playoffs, but I mean, again, this is probably the first time that M80 has played up against a team with that individual ability similar to